In the heart of ancient Babylon, there stood a temple where the gods demanded more than prayers. Women and men were chosen not for sacrifice of blood, but of the body. They were bound in rituals of desire, overseen by priests who claimed it was the will of Ishtar, goddess of love and war. But beneath the silk veils and incense, something darker stirred. Those who entered the chamber rarely returned unchanged. Some whispered they were marked, cursed forever, carrying the hunger of gods within their flesh. The rituals began innocently enough. Worshippers approached the temple with garlands, honey, and wine, believing they were offering devotion. Yet once the doors closed, the air grew heavy with smoke. Drums beat slowly like a heartbeat, and the chosen were led deeper inside. The scent of burning myrrh clung to their skin as priests dressed them in thin silk robes, their faces painted with strange symbols. And then the silk was stripped away. The goddess, they said, required the body as an offering. Flesh must burn with passion, sweat must stain the stones, moans must rise like prayers. But those who were taken inside did not always come willingly. Some were seized as tribute, others pledged by their own families, desperate to gain favor from the goddess. They were told it was holy, but for many, it was horror masked in gold. There were chambers beneath the ziggurat where no sunlight had ever reached. Their walls were painted with scenes not of God's blessing mankind, but of mankind breaking itself to please the gods. Grotesque murals of men with faces twisted in agony, women with eyes wide in ecstasy and terror, beasts mingling with mortals in scenes too blasphemous for the outside world. The torchlight danced over them as if the figures moved, laughing, writhing, feeding. Priests guided the chosen into these halls, their voices soft as honey, their hands guiding gently at first, then with a grip that allowed no refusal. Naked bodies were pressed against cold stone, bound with ropes dyed crimson, perfumed oil smeared across trembling flesh. To the worshippers, this was not sin, but salvation. The goddess demanded the body as proof of faith. But there was another layer to it all. For every night of passion and sacrifice, blood was spilled into bowls carved with spirals, collected not as waste, but as offerings. That blood was smeared onto idols, mixed with wine, poured onto altars where flames hissed as if feeding. The priests claimed the goddess appeared in the rising smoke, her form half woman, half beast, her eyes glowing with hunger. Some of the initiated said they had seen her. They described a beauty so terrible it shredded sanity. Skin like burning bronze, hair flowing like rivers of fire, lips that dripped both love and poison. To gaze upon her was to desire and to fear at once, to long for her embrace and dread the price it demanded. And the price was always steep. Some who left the rituals were unable to lie with their wives or husbands ever again, for they felt no pleasure in mortal touch. Some became obsessed, returning night after night, giving more of themselves until they wasted away. Others were struck with nightmares of suffocation, as if invisible hands pressed upon their throats, or visions of their own bodies devoured in an endless feast. The temple did not care. As long as the people came, as long as the goddess was fed, Babylon prospered. Crops grew, armies conquered, the city's walls rose higher, and so the leaders turned a blind eye, even as their own kin were swallowed by the temple's shadow. Yet, deep in the annals of time, stories emerged of a curse that outlasted even Babylon's golden age. Merchants who dared to rob the temple claimed they were haunted by phantom lovers who came to them in the night, whispering promises before tearing them apart. Soldiers who desecrated Ishtar's idols found themselves driven mad with lust, unable to control their bodies until they ended in violent ruin. Even when Babylon fell, the curse clung like smoke. The ruins of Ishtar's temple were feared by conquerors. No one dared to rebuild upon them, for strange cries were heard there at night. Moans, screams, the pounding of ritual drums, though no living soul was present. Archaeologists centuries later unearthed fragments of tablets describing the rites, but many of those tablets mysteriously vanished into private collections, as if the knowledge itself was too dangerous to exist in open hands. And now, the question lingers. Did the goddess ever truly leave? Or does her shadow still stretch across the centuries, waiting for the unwary? Some claim that her curse is eternal, that she is not bound to one temple or one city, but to desire itself. Wherever passion turns violent, wherever love entwines with blood, her presence is there, watching, feeding. Perhaps that is why Babylon's story still chills us today. It is not just about the rise and fall of a city. It is not even about gods demanding flesh. It is about us, the hunger we hide, the desires we fear, the darkness we invite when we bow to temptation. Ishtar's temple may be dust, its altars buried beneath time, but her curse is alive, breathing in the shadows of every forbidden thought. And maybe, just maybe, when the night is quiet and you feel eyes watching though no one is there, when you dream of fire and embrace and wake trembling in sweat, you have touched her temple too. So if you followed me this far into the darkness, you are braver than most. But the shadows of Mesopotamia still hold more secrets, more curses, and more horrors than any temple wall could ever contain. If you want to step deeper into the ruins with me, if you dare, then stay with this channel. Subscribe now, because the next story may be the one that follows you into your dreams.